beautiful. I want to talk to you about the split, the new earth that everyone in the spiritual community is talking about. But I don't see much talk around exactly what that looks like and how that happens. We all perceive reality through a different lens, and most of us only believe what we can see with our eyes, taste, touch, and feel. If it's not a physical separation, then it's not real. But some of you might have noticed that there were people that were in your lives for years, 20, 30, 15 years, they seem to have fallen off of the edge of the earth. They've just disappeared. It doesn't mean they're not on the planet. It doesn't mean they're not on the globe. They're just experiencing reality on a different frequency. So some people think that the shift and the theory of the world splitting, the theory of a shift and a split between 3 and 5D is based on more separation and segregation between humanity. There have been talks around the world actually splitting away and us having two worlds. It's not so literal, and this is what I want to talk to you about. I'm going to give you some analogies just so that for your understanding, but we've had apocalyptic predictions before. We've had different groups, different religions, different people from different communities, different faiths have had prophecies based on apocalypse and the end of the earth, the end of the world as we know it. And we've even had dates where we've wondered, this is going to be it. The world might come to an end, and we wake up the next day and the world continues. This is only because of a misconception that we have that this world, the planet, is something separate from us. That somehow the planet can disappear and we can continue in some form or another, floating through the ether perhaps, or find ourselves in some other holding place. That the way that we interpret the possibility comes from our separation consciousness, where we see ourselves as separate from the earth, and we're not. We're a part of Gaia, the Great Mother. We're a part of the universe, and as the universe is evolving, because it is always evolving, so do we. So there are many different predictions that we can talk about that have been made. I'm going to speak about the Mayan prediction of December the 21st, 2012. Now, the world didn't come to an end. We didn't cease to exist. Because we cannot ever cease to exist. That which is. It cannot die. It cannot end. Even a thought. I want you to start thinking of our reality through physics. Physics is not something you can see with the naked eye, but you can see the effect of physics. And when we trace it back, it leads us to the root of what may have happened, what the cause was that created the effect. It doesn't matter what you look at in the 3D world. When we reduce it to its core, it's all atoms. Whether it's human flesh, whether it's your muscle, whether it's a human being, whatever, or a chair, the wall, it's all atoms. And the atoms take form, take shape based on the frequency. The frequency or the vibration is determined by the focus. And the focuser is consciousness. I don't want to complicate this too much, but 2012, the world did not come to an end. We were not all destroyed along with the planet. But what did happen is that our Schumann resonance began to climb. Now, this means that for centuries, the world's frequency remained at a constant. It was just at a constant vibration and frequency. Our reality is perceived as though we are billions of people sharing an earth, a planet. But we only have access to a small percentage of those human beings. Most of them we don't even get to see. Now with technology, obviously we see so many more people of the world on our social media, etc. Why is that possible? Why do we have so many more people coming into our world on our screen, on our television? More of us are able to travel than ever before. We've got access to news in more places than ever before. Because the old world in which, when the Schumann resonance was a constant, the way that the world looked was the way that the world looked, meaning we didn't even know that there were certain groups, certain cultures, certain groups of people, certain tribes, and their lifestyles. We had no access to that. We didn't know anything about that. We only knew what we saw in our immediate surrounding. And the culture and the behaviors and the laws of our world, we thought that was the only thing that exists everywhere. So there were many different groups of people who had invited one another into their world, right? Because they match in frequency. That thought that their world is how the rest of the world is. And then something would happen. The technology that is us would advance, just like our cell phones, our laptops, our devices in our homes. The way that they used to work 2-3 generations ago, and what they were capable of doing, was very limited in comparison to what our devices are able to do now. It's still the same world, but the world is different. It operates on different systems. We have access to different things. We have greater awareness because our world has changed. So just like you wake up in the same body year after year, but some of you can undoubtedly say and admit that a lot about you has changed. Every 7 years, you are a brand new person. All of the cells in your body have been replaced. We see evidence of this turnover of matter, of the conditions of our body, of our reality, and in nature everywhere. So when we talk about a split, it is like this. So the Schumann resonance began to climb in 2012, and it's been doing so ever since. What does that mean? Our reality, I have my own world within this world. You have your own world within this world. And we bump into one another and we get to play together by invitation. And the invitation is not, oh, I want to meet someone. It's a vibration. Imagine that our reality is like a radio station. The radio is in the room. The radio does not move. But we know that there are many radio stations somewhere out there in the ether. And all we have to do is tune into it so that we can receive the broadcast of it. So we can receive the news or the stories that are being told on that frequency. Our reality is the same. So when the Schumann frequency started to climb, the frequency of our planet moved and advanced into a higher level of consciousness with more possibility than ever before. Our capacity to perceive our reality is also advanced in a major way. So the world did not blow up for us, but that old world is gone. You must admit that. So we've just expected very literal apocalypse based on what we thought it would look like and some of our fears. So this split that we are experiencing now is also energetic, it is symbolic. And it's not a separation. We've had these separate pockets of worlds, different people's worlds, different communities, different faiths. Now they're coming together and there will only be two. And it's an honor of free will. It's not a separation. In the next part, I will go into more detail explaining this. But are you getting the picture?